always am amazed when I look around and think like my hands produced all of this. I'm Kristen Baughman. My farm is Curly Girl Farm in Zanesville, Ohio. I do a mix of flowers and vegetables on my farm that I sell. I sell at farmers markets in both Zanesville and Granville, and I also have a roadside stand in Zanesville that I sell my produce and my flowers. I also do some pick your own events out here in my flower patch. So I've had this farm stand for over 10 years. I worked at this stand when I was in high school. That's kind of how I got into the produce business. When it was at its former location, it was owned by a family friend who owned a produce farm. My parents are actually not produce farmers, but I worked on the farm and at the roadside stand. And when he was ready to retire, he was ready to sell the business. And so I bought the stand, and I've been doing it ever since. So right now, everything that I'm selling at the stand is what I have grown on my own farm. I do supplement with other farmers' produce if I have a gap. All the fruit here is from Yuri's Orchard in Adamsville. That's my boyfriend's orchard, so he supplies me with peaches and apples. I sell honey at my stand from Honey Run Farm in Williamsport, Ohio. Good friends of mine from college. Normal people plant like one thing and they focus on one thing, and I don't do that. And I know that it helps create efficiency, but I like to do things inefficiently, I guess. I keep a big spreadsheet with all my seeds. Like I have a tab for, this is the tomato page, but then there's probably 100 varieties. I have about 3 acres under production, and I have been expanding over the last couple of years out to my boyfriend's orchard, which, as I said, is Yuri's Orchard in Adamsville. So I probably have at least 3 acres in production at that farm as well. I think if everything were more monochromatic or more one thing, I would be very bored with it. So obviously I spend a lot of time in the winter planning. Because I like to grow so many varieties of things, it can get a little crazy. I try to map out where I'm gonna plant everything, give or take. It always ends up a little different when I'm actually out in the field, but I try to get all that done, before April. And then really April 1st, I'm off and running. I own the farm, and I, coordinate everything. I do all the planting. The harvesting, I do a lot of it myself. I do have a part-time lady that helps me a few hours a week. I have another lady that will help. She does a lot of the washing for farmers market. Here at my roadside stand, I've been so fortunate. My family really helps me. I have several aunts that take turns, and my mom will fill in when I need her. So it's mostly family that runs the roadside stand. This is my Aunt Martha.
Hi, I'm Aunt Martha.
I have this plastic shelf that's got like 3 drawers that I keep all my seeds in. And it's amazing to me to think that that amount of seeds produces all of this abundance. Especially this time of year when there's just so much, and it's thousands and thousands of pounds. I wish I kept track actually better of how many pounds it is that I produced from these little tiny seeds, and just the miracle of that, and being able to feed people in my community healthy food. When I am able to have events and people come to the house, I love sharing the history of our home and showing them my fields, and people really get a better sense of where their food comes from. It's easy to be detached. You know, when you go to the grocery store, and even if you don't get out to the farm, but if you come to this farm stand, you meet my family, you can see, you just get a better sense of where your food's coming from, and that's really important.